Hey guys, welcome to my channel Code Canvas. In this video, we will learn about CSS property aspect ratio. The aspect ratio CSS property sets a preferred aspect ratio for the box, which will be used in the calculation of auto sized and some other layout functions. So, this CSS property lets you to create boxes that maintain proportional dimensions where the height and width of a box are calculated automatically as a ratio, right? So here the idea is that you can divide one value by another on this property, and the calculated value will ensure a box stays in a proportional. Okay, so in other words, this property helps you to resize the elements consistently, so the ratio of an element stays the same as it grows or shrink. So let's see in CSS how it works. In CSS, let's say we have one element with class EL and aspect ratio will be 2 by 1. So how this works? Here 2 by 1 means the width is double the height, right? And if it is 1 by 1, then it is square. So the aspect ratio is defined in the CSS box sizing module level 4 specification, that is in working draft at the moment. It might get changed in near future, right? So aspect ratio has some values, some possible values. So first is auto. What auto means? The default value is auto, which specifies that the element has no preferred aspect ratio and should size itself as it normally would, right? So that is auto. The next is 1 by 1. As you aware, it is square. The height and width are same. It will calculate height and width as the same. Second is 2 by 1. That is width is twice the height. The next is 1 by 2. The width is half of the height. After that, possible value is 16 by 9. That is a typical video aspect ratio, right? The next one is auto 4 by 3. That is width and height will be equal unless it is the replaced element. We will show what is replaced element. And the next possible value is 0.5, that is floating value. Apart from that, there are few values like inherit. Okay, inherit will adopt the aspect ratio value of its parent element. The next is initial. So this will apply the properties default settings, which is auto in this case. And the last one is unset. That will remove the current aspect ratio from this element, from the current element. Okay. Also, aspect ratio can take two values like auto space 1 by 1, 1 divided by 1. Okay. If both auto and ratio are specified together like this, the preferred aspect ratio is the specified ratio of width divided by height, unless it is a replaced element with the aspect ratio specified. Okay, so let's see with one example. Remove. For example, we have one div with some class. We will give class square, for example. Okay, let me save this right now. In CSS, let's say we have some width, for example, 300 pixel. Okay, and here I'm giving aspect ratio as 1 by 1. Okay, and it won't display anything at this moment because we don't have height. Let's see. So here width is there, as you can see, 300 pixel, but height is not specified. So you can't see anything unless, yeah, right now you can't see that box. Let it get reload, right? Height is 0. So we don't have to specify height And in that case, what we can do, we can give a background image and linear gradient value. Let's give 90 degree, for example, the first value. The second value will be some color. Let's say EC4 899. Okay, some pinkish value. The next is EF 4 times 4, and the third value is hash F5 9E0B. Okay, so now let's see how it looks. So as you can see, the width is 300 pixel. Okay, you might be not aware why this portion is highlighted, because we have specified width, right? And its container is full width, so it will be, so here if I don't specify aspect ratio, then the height will be 0. When I specify aspect ratio as 1 by 1, it will calculate height as a width. Okay, so let me change here like 2 by 1. Then the value of the width is 300 as we have mentioned, and the height will be half, that is 150. Okay, let's see, change the value to 1 by 2. Then the width will be 300 as specified, and the height will be doubled, that is 600, right? So this is how the aspect ratio works. Okay, so it works on its own without specifying a height or width. So for example, uh, let me just comment it out. Yeah. So what we can do, let me comment it out and see. So what I can do here, I can give a simple value like 16 by 9. Yeah, we can simply add this value on element, and the element's default width will be auto because we haven't specified. So it will be similar to auto, right? So it will be similar to width auto if we don't specify it, right? And it changes when width or height are on the same element. So let's say we have an element with a width of 300 pixel, which we already have. Let me remove. Right? We have a width of 300 pixel, and aspect ratio is, let's say, keep it 3 by 1. So when we write down width and aspect ratio like this, then by default this aspect ratio wants to calculate the element's dimension on its own, and will do that thing on the context where it is used. Okay, but with that width, it tells aspect ratio to calculate the element's aspect ratio box using 300 pixel as a width. Okay, so it will be similar to width 300 pixel and height will be 100 pixel, because here width is 300 pixel and height is 1/3. So if we don't specify height and specify this aspect ratio 3 by 1, then it will be similar to height 100 pixel and width 300 pixel. That makes sense, right? So when no width or heights are specified, the browser assumes those are auto, right? When you don't specify the height and width, then browser will calculate those values as auto, and it will take from there. So when we provide height and width explicitly, then those value will be used. Sometimes these aspect ratio values are ignored as well. So this is the case where when we both use height and width of an element, and sometimes the aspect ratio will be ignored because we specify those height and width. So if we give width and height, then it doesn't make any difference, or it doesn't make any sense in general if we specify this aspect ratio, right? So sometimes you need to take care of this. Like if you are specifying height and width, then you don't need to use aspect ratio. Right? Okay. So this was about the height and width and aspect ratio of this element. All right. About the browser support, this property is supported by Edge, Firefox, and Chrome. It is not supported by IE, and it doesn't matter for this because I is not in picture at this date. All right. If you want to support the legacy browsers, then you might need to add additional CSS for that, but you don't have to worry about because nowadays I is not in the picture for the development phases. All right. Okay, I think that's all for this video. The aspect ratio. This is not supported by all the browsers at this moment, but it is in draft state. So hopefully it will be in development or in a fully supported state in near future. If you like this video, please give me a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. I have created a few videos on CSS, JavaScript, and Node.js, as well as there are a few videos on WordPress. You can check it out on my channel. Also, if you have any suggestions or any feedback, you can write down your feedback in the comment section. Thanks for your time and have a good day.